everyone. First of all, thank you for coming with the IBAP. First of all, since today is Mother's Day, since we are in this lovely kingdom of Thailand, so I would like to get a toast for the Queen of Thailand. One, two, three, cheers!
I would like to say a big thanks to Events Thailand. There's a few of the guys here tonight, Simon Saman, Jorge, Daniel. These guys did a great job in organising the business fair last week. Please give them a round of applause.
Olaf, we have a special award we'd like to present you. Can you come forward please for a second? Olaf introduced IBAP the business fair, and I'm going to pass the microphone not to take it for that, but because Olaf is going to introduce our speaker tonight.
So when I came to Thailand and I started reading the Bangkok Post, and the Nation actually, I was always more impressed by the Bangkok Post. And I didn't know why, because there were certain articles that were so much more interesting and so much more in depth than other articles I read so far in Thai newspapers. And at one point of time, suddenly I figured out why it was. Why I liked certain articles, and it was due to a certain person. It was only actually one person that wrote all the articles that I was interested in, and that was Voranai. After I learned that, right, I was so much focusing it, sending it to my friends, and everybody actually who read his articles, and I hope you all did, right, had so much deeper understanding of Thailand and how the Thai culture and what is actually happening in this country. So I'm glad that I can finally meet him personally and that he can talk to us today. So welcome to Voranai. Thank you very much.
Since I'm Thai, I'm going to do this for everybody. So I guess the entertainment for tonight, I haven't been down to Phuket for 4 years, and this is the first time in 4 years, so thank you very much for having me tonight. And of course, the topic I'm going to be talking about tonight is politics, but I'm not going to be too serious about it. Politics does not have to be serious. We should treat it for what it is, especially in Thailand. If we take it too seriously, we go crazy. It is what it is, tragic comedy. And also, I will not take it too seriously because there's videotaping. If I take it too seriously, I may join the red shirts in prison. And unlike the unlike Naku Saigur, I do not have MP immunity. I do not have election of one topic. So will not take it too seriously. I cannot exile myself to Dubai either because the man in Dubai doesn't like me very much either. In fact, nobody really likes me in Thailand except for the embassies. They love me because I give them juicy stories so they can fly back to whichever capitals they report to. And I guarantee you the next time WikiLeaks come out, my name will be all over it. And the one thing I made all the embassies promise me is that when the time comes, when the man come after me, or the woman come after me, and when I say the woman, I don't necessarily mean the Prime Minister. That's a different woman, but we'll leave it there. When that time comes, I'm going to come knocking on your door, on your gate, and please do not pretend like you do not know me. I don't mind a house in Melbourne, I do not mind New York City, I do not mind. Put me up somewhere when the time comes. Now, politics in Thailand. I'm going to keep it brief. I would prefer it if I can go out into the floor, you can ask questions. I would help to answer things. Bear in mind, I will always say this every time before I make a speech. I do not know everything. And I am wrong many times. Whatever I say is simply my opinion. And since I am the man with the mic, you're going to get my opinions tonight. So feel free to disagree, feel free to offer another perspective, feel free to argue with me, feel free to stand up, point me in the face and say you lie. And I shall defend myself. I believe a lot of you guys here, whether you're Thai or you're foreigners, who have been here many years, you know a lot about Thailand. But I always say, to understand something, you must understand the past first. Understand the past, so you can understand the present. Understand the present, then you can build a future. So I'm going to give you a brief history of Thailand. Now this is a history of Thailand according to Voranai. There are many other versions. And again, I'm the one with the mic, so you can get my version. Now in Thailand, let's start from 1932, when we changed from an absolute monarchy to constitutional monarchy, or what we would call democracy, or somewhat of a democracy. Now from 1932 to today, 2011, that's 79 years. In those 79 years, we have had 23 coup d'etats. That's about one coup d'etat every 7 years or so. And out of those 23 coup d'etats, there have been 11 successful ones. That's about, one successful coup d'etat every 7 years, one coup d'etat every 3 years. And over the past 20 years, we have had 2 coup d'etats. We have had 4 incidents of blood, chaos, and anarchy in the street. Bloody May 1992, then the red shirt, then the yellow shirt, wonderful Pattaya Royal Cliff Hotel, and then the red shirt, 2009, and then the red shirt again in 2010, which was last year. So in 2010, last year, about April, before the red shirt came over to occupy Rajapasong intersection, I was in the car with my family coming home from lunch, and I got a call from a friend in the United States, and the friend was very panicked, very nervous. The friend was like, what is going on? What is happening over there in Thailand? Is there a civil war? Are people dying in the street? Are they bombing? Are they killing everybody? What is going on? And the first thing I said to my friend was like, look, relax, chill out, listen carefully. We do this every few years. It's tradition. It's seasonal. It's like mango, it's like durian. It comes and it goes. 79 years of quote-unquote democracy, 23 coup d'etat, 11 were successful. Of those 79 years, 43 years, Thailand was headed by a military strongman, whether to a coup d'etat or to an appointment of some sort. Now I painted this picture simply to say that Thailand was never and still is not politically stable. We are a politically unstable country. That's what we are. No need to lie to anybody about it. We are very unstable. But Thailand is going through a lot of changes these past 20 years. I teach at Thammasat University, and when I teach my students, I divide Thailand into 2 periods. 1932 to about 1989. And then 1989 to present day, and still going forward. The first period, I call it traditional patronage democracy. This period, I call capitalist patronage democracy. The only difference is, with traditional patronage democracy, the people up top is this word that you have heard over the past 2 years, the Amar. Who are the Amar? The men in uniform, the military, the old establishment, and of course, the monarchy. In the capitalistic period, we are seeing a change. It's not a complete change yet, but it is a change. We see now more of the businessmen, the billionaire in suit, expensive suit. They are running things, being in charge. Why do I say that? Simply because in 2006, the tanks kicked him out. And then his nominee won the election. And then the court kicked him out because of some cooking show on TV. And then his brother-in-law took over. And then the court kicked him out again. And then we had 1 year of private government, and and we had a Pacific Shashiwa, and we had July 3rd. And again, he won. Again, he came back. No matter what they try to do, the establishment, no matter what they try to do, Thaksin Shinawatra keeps coming back. That is very important. Why does he keep coming back? Because it's a change of time. The people are wanting something different. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying him keep coming back is a good thing or a bad thing. This has nothing to do with good or bad. This has everything to do with the reality of politics. This has to do with money politics. And Thaksin Shinawatra, it doesn't have to be Thaksin. It can be anyone else. But the change is going through. The change is coming. It's the next evolution of democracy. Eventually, we'll all be, well, we are now, money-driven, greed rules. We look up, we admire to the rich people, the people who are very successful, the one who can deliver things to us. Now, over the past 20 years, of course, the Thaksin government was the only one that made it through his term. The first Thaksin government, I don't count the opposite government because he was in charge only 2 years. In 2001, something very different happened in Thailand. Something very unique, something that will mark, that will be imprinted in our history for a long, long time. In 2001, every single Thai person, all 65 million of us, woke up one morning. We walk outside our home. We look up at the sky. We saw the clouds. And slowly we saw the clouds parting. We saw a ray of sunshine coming through the clouds. And we hear Beethoven, Symphony No. 9, echoing through the air. And there was a chant, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. And there, descending from heaven, with a square face, was Jesus Christ, little brother. He's Asian, he's high, he was born in Chiang Mai, but he was the second coming of Christ. He was. Any of you who were here in 2001 knew that everybody in Thailand loved that guy. The overwhelming victory in the election was just proof it. Everybody loved that guy. But from then till now, what happened? We'll get to that later. From then till now, what happened? And then we have this other guy, President Shashiwatra. Again, when Abhisit was voted by the parliament to become prime minister, everybody, and by everybody I mean middle class people in Bangkok and upper class, was so happy. This is it. This is finally it. We have our guy, he's our man. He is actually educated. He can actually speak English. He actually makes sense when he makes a speech. He's actually not embarrassing to the entire kingdom. And he has a wonderful last name, Vanijaka. That is a wonderful last name. My last name is Vanijaka. Voranai Vanijaka, my girlfriend, the lovely girl right here, keep calling me Voranai Vanijaka. Wonderful last name. 2 years in government. I can tell you this. Just about everyone I know who voted for him, young and old, were very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. And on July 3rd, a lot of them still voted for him again. But they only voted for him again simply because they hate Thaksin Shinawatra as much. It has nothing to do with the president. It has everything to do with Thaksin Shinawatra. Now let's get back to Thaksin. What happened? Why was it that the man that everyone loved suddenly became the most hated man by at least half the country? Less than half, apparently. Two reasons. The yellow shirt came out, everybody supported him. For 2 reasons. Thaksin was accused of corruption. Bullshit. Which Thai politician doesn't corrupt? What is there about that? Second reason, perhaps the more important one, he was anti-monarchy. Now, I will have to say that to this day, has anyone seen any proof of that? Has any proof come out that there was any anti-monarchy activity by Thaksin? I don't know. I'm not saying there is, I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying, has anyone seen any proof of that? And because there's no proof of that, you see the wind starting to blow the other way. Right now, Thaksin is coming back, and Yingluck Shinawatra, of course, is now the Prime Minister of Thailand. A lot of people express a lot of surprise, especially those in the embassies who are my contacts. They ask me, how is it that Pheu Thai Party can win and win by such a huge majority? They won by 100 seats. Plus, all the prediction, all the analysis, everybody, all the experts were saying that, look, Pheu Thai is going to win the popular vote, but they're not going to win the majority in the parliament. No way. No way in hell. It's going to be a close call. And the opposite is going to form a minority coalition government again. That's the picture painted by every single analyst in the Kingdom of Thailand. And then, come July 3rd, Pheu Thai won by over 100 seats. How did that happen?
Both fine.
I'll tell you this. I have a cousin. He lives in Colorado. He's a Voranai, a canvasser. And he tells me, what buying is true. Because every election, he carries about 4 or 5 different bags from every party. Every political party. So yes, what buying is correct. But there is something else also. Think back to about a couple of months before the election, the news about Pheu Thai Party. Pheu Thai Party was in a shambles. They did not have a leader. There were reports of many MPs wanting to defect. The important MPs like Snot Thiên Thong, who has about 30 MPs in his hand, they all were talking about defecting. Pheu Thai Party was falling apart. The Democrats were already celebrating their victory. Everybody knew that comes election, the Democrats will get the form of government. Every politician they talk to say that way. But then, Kun Thaksin, or the international PR firm that advised him, or Robert Amsterdam, you know, he has a lot of good advisors, just pointed to someone, a lady who, by all accounts, most people say is very pretty. And you know, we Thai people like pretty faces. She has a nice smile, she's personable, she has that human touch, she's very close to people. They pointed to his sister. His sister come in, and suddenly, all the different factions within Pheu Thai started to come back together again. The people who were trying to defect didn't defect anymore. So internally, Yingluck served the purpose of being that magnet to pull everyone together. Now Yingluck has that magic within Pheu Thai Party because within that political faction, Yingluck is known as Miss Yes. And every guy loved Miss Yes. In high school, every guy loved Miss Yes. Yingluck was Miss Yes. Yingluck was a lady that you could go to, ask a favor, and she would say yes to everyone. Everybody loves Yingluck within the Pheu Thai political camp. So she was a good move to unite Pheu Thai once again. Now, they have pulled Pheu Thai Party together. What's next? How do you win the hearts and minds of the people? Of course, vote buying is one thing. And they do have the biggest purse. But have you seen Yingluck on the campaign trail? If you watch the news, Yingluck among the people, talking to the people, talking to the merchants, the sellers in the markets. I watch the news, and I will tell you this, she looks good. She looks believable. She looks comfortable. And the people look like they genuinely were drawn to her. I'm not saying it's because she's a good person. I'm not even saying that's because she's an intelligent person. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm just saying that election what the brother has, the human touch. She has that. She was the magnet. Thaksin Shinawatra has the human touch. I remember when he was Prime Minister, on the news, watching him sitting in some hut, talking to some farmer. It looks believable. It always looks believable. Compare that to Abhisit Veshachiwat. No doubt a highly intelligent man. No doubt a man who is not corrupted. No doubt anything. But have you seen him on the news trying to talk to the people? Have you seen him on that piece of news with the farmers trying to work on the rice field in his pristine white shirt, all buttoned up to his wrist and his collar with the thing to the farming with, and a couple of farmers try to help him and not let him fall? He looks so uncomfortable. What about the flooding last year when he visited the flood? When China, when they had the earthquake, the Chinese Prime Minister came to the earthquake, ruined area, he rolled up sleeves, he was among the debris, picking things up, helping people. But Abhisit Veshachiwat in the flood, he was on the boat. Again, white shirt, all buttons up, looking very nice, hair not out of place. Everything's so good, it is all cabinet, all look good on the boat. And in the water, chest deep, were a few, some people say soldiers, sailors, some people say just, villagers, quote unquote, right? Tucking the boat, pulling in the water. That's the different image between Abhisit Veshachiwat and Thaksin and his sister. On this side, they have what is very important in any democratic country where you need the people to love you. They have the human touch. I'm not saying they're good people, I'm not saying they're bad people, I'm not saying they're corrupted or not. That has nothing to do with anything. But they have the human touch. On this side, you have a guy who he himself is not corrupted. He himself is very intelligent, Oxford graduate and everything. But he doesn't have that thing. He doesn't have that human touch. And Thailand is a country of peasants. It's a country of peasants. The majority of our populations are peasants. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it is the way it is. And when you lack that human touch, you can't penetrate the mindset of the majority of your country, and you are in trouble. And July 3rd election is proof to that. But that is assuming that we Thai people vote according to our conscience. We do not. The Thai voting public is divided into two groups. The first group is people like me. I vote for whoever I want. I see Shubit with his little dog, and I want to vote for him, I vote for him. And the little baby. The whole party has one guy, a dog and a baby, and they want 4 NPCs. In Parliament, you have Shubit, a dog and a baby, and I don't know, maybe a masseuse from one of his establishment. I don't know. But he has the magic. But that's one group of the voting public, which is the smaller group. The bigger group that exists in this patronage democracy, which is changing, is slowly changing, but it's still there. It's the group that will vote according to who your village head tells you to vote, who gets his instruction from the district chief, who gets his instruction from the district administration office or Obato, and then from provincial administrative office or Obato, all the way up to men like David Chitchop and Hansapa Acha, Suwatita Panlok, Sanop Tientong, so on and so forth. It's a patronage system. It's feudalistic in its very nature. There is nothing the Democrats can do to take away those votes unless, one, you actually change Thailand to education, or two, replace the powerful local politicians in Isan and in the North with your own people. And that's never an easy thing. July 3rd election, what did we get in the parliament? We get 42 families. and 89 MPs belonging to those families. Now this is just the families, this is just the MPs with the same surname. According to the study, they have the same surname, they belong in the same family. But in actuality, there is more than that. Yingluck Shinawat has one surname. Shinicha Wongsawat has another surname. But Shinicha Wongsawat is the daughter of Somchai Wongsawat and Yawapa Wongsawat, who is the sister of Thaksin Shinawat, same family. And Kanat Pongpan, Supen Tursuban, are they two different people? They are, but they are the same family. Because they cannot comprehend the powerhouse of Democrats. So just to be fair, both sides. Politics in Thailand is family business. It is family business. Look at the cabinet right now that just came out on Friday. You have a deputy minister who is the son of Major General Thammasat, and we all know who he is. And then the nephew of Sanap Thiên Thong is also a deputy minister, who is the foreign minister of Thailand, Kun Surapong. What his connection? His aunt is married to Thaksin Shinawat's uncle. At first, Yingluck Shinawat was talking about bringing somebody qualified, maybe the former ambassador to the UK, or other ambassadors, but at the end of it all, you look at the makeup of the cabinet, they are all families and friends. The Minister of Commerce, the Finance Minister, two very important portfolios, friends. People you never heard of before, people who aren't qualified. The Foreign Minister, Kun Surapong, has a degree in engineering. Maybe he will build a bridge over Pavihara Temple to establish neighborly relations in Cambodia. Who knows? Now compare that to the opposite government. The opposite government has four wives, normally, who were either ministers or deputy ministers. The most famous of them all is Kun Akasai, the Minister of Commerce. They're all wives of banned politicians. And there was even one girlfriend nominee. So 4 wives and 1 girlfriend nominee in the opposite government. So basically, again, after the July 3rd election, it's still the same. Politics, whether it's under opposite or Thaksin, is still family business. It's still patronage system. That has not changed. Only the master changed. Because let's face it, Kun Appisit, Oxford graduate he may be, but he is the representative of the old establishment. Let's not kid ourselves. He would not be there if he doesn't have the support of the old establishment. Thaksin's people is the new establishment. It's the traditionalist versus the capitalist. And I'll tell you this, the capitalists will win. Because it's just a matter of evolution. That's the way the society is headed. It's the same, I am sure, with every other society, every other advanced democracy on earth, whether it's Germany, England, America, wherever. You can correct me if I'm wrong. We started out very traditional, and then the money era, capitalistic era start kicking in, where Queens become the #1 priority, and eventually, hopefully, you get into the humanistic era, where people start thinking about human rights and freedom. Aristotle said that the most perfect political community is one where the middle class outnumbers the other two classes. The other two classes being the upper class and the lower class. In the advanced, quote-unquote advanced democracy of this world, you have a large middle class, which more or less outnumber the high class and the lower class. In Thailand, you have a small high class, you have a small but growing middle class, and you have the mass of peasants. And that is the problem with Thailand, the mass of peasants. They are not the problem, it's not their fault. It is us on top, it is our fault because we keep them down there. It is the fault of the high class, it is the fault of the middle class, because we middle class, we are too busy making money and going clubbing. and watching reality TVs and all this stuff. We don't pay enough attention to our brothers and sisters. And that's why we are living in the situation we are living in now. In Thailand, out of the 30 million labor force, 60% do not even have a 6th grade education. In Thailand right now, there are 2 million children that are not going to school. These are not signs of a democracy that can develop quickly. Kunapisi Veshachiwa said he has given all Thai children 12 years of free schooling. I can tell you right now, that's a lie. You ask anybody that has children going to state school, it's not free. You have to pay for something. You always do. And besides which, bad education is bad to education, free or not. So free school is not helping Thailand to change for the better. That's not the point. So here we are today. We now have a new government. The cabinet is filled with friends and families. What's going to happen next? The military reshuffle is going to happen next. And all I can say, and all everybody should say to Thaksin Shinawat is, chill. Please, chill. Be cool. Be calm. Because if you go back to one of the reasons why Kun Thaksin was ousted by a coup d'etat, it's the same reason for about maybe 18 or 19 coup d'etat that we have had in Thailand. That reason comes down to basically is this. Some general was about to lose his job. One of the worst things Thaksin ever did, politically, was to reshuffle the military and put his brothers, his cousins and all, connections and families up top. That was his final part, final straw. This time, come this September, if General Prayut Chan-o-cha doesn't keep his job, we should hold our breath. But right now, everything points to General Prayut is still keeping his job. Because really, at the end of the day, Thaksin has won. He has won. No doubt. Whether we like it or not. I don't know if that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. It depends on which side you are on. And I'm not on any side. I hate everybody. It's my job description to hate everybody. It makes me right there. But he won. All he has to do now is chill, be calm, be cool. Play for time. Let his sister do her thing. And that thing is just smile, looks good. And so, Naka. I have yet to have the pleasure of interviewing Putin Lat. Everybody I talk to who have interviewed her, now this is according to them, okay, so play by ear. It may not be a fair judgment. Everybody say that everything she say is scripted. She never speaks her mind. There's always a handler who makes sure she say 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. True or not, I don't know. I wasn't there. So just to be fair. So just next time, he can come back in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, whatever. He has won already. And then Thailand will move along the way we have been moving along with our patronage democracy. Because at the end of the day, Thaksin Shinawat is not the problem. Abhisit Veshachiwa is not the problem. The military is not the problem. The establishment is not the problem. None of these people are the problem. We are all the problem because we are all letting this happen. Because we are all Thai people. Because in a democracy, it takes 65 million of us. And as long as we keep pointing fingers, and everyone does. Even Kunapisi, Mr. Oxford, you always point finger. As long as we keep pointing finger, this country is not going to go anywhere. 2 years ago, I had a chance to interview Kunapisi. I asked him about his coalition partners. I said, look, Mr. Prime Minister, you're clean, you're not corrupted, we know that, we understand that. But what's the point if your coalition partners are not clean? What's the point if they are corrupted? Do something. His answer was, well, I told them this, I told them that, but they wouldn't listen to me. I tried, but I can't. And then we talk about reconciliation with the red shirts. I said, Prime Minister, that's no reconciliation. What are you doing with it? He said, well, I offered my hand, they didn't take it. What do you want me to do? I give them this, I give them that. They didn't take it. They don't want it. What do you want me to do? So finally, I looked at Mr. Prime Minister. I said to him, look, Mr. Prime Minister, you are the Prime Minister. If you can't do it, what hope do we have? If you can't do it, why are you the Prime Minister? He hasn't spoken to me since. The last time I saw him was at the International Anti-Corruption Conference. I was the MC, I was the host. They gave me to do it. I said, why not? And of course, he opened the conference. I introduced him. He walked by. I was there when he walked like this. Did I break your heart there? Why can't you treat me like that? Give me a look, say hi or something, you know. Don't act like you don't know me. That's why nobody likes me. Now, to be fair, I said I tell you a story about Abhisit. Let me tell you a story about Thaksin. And I have written about this, so if I sound like that, don't forgive me. But I love telling this story. It's my favorite story. 2001, when Thaksin won in the first election, I was 27 years old. So that you can guess how old I am. Thank you, I look young. So as the Thai cabinet came to the Bangkok Post, I was a business reporter at the time. And of course, back then, everybody loved Thaksin. And on the staff lined up at the door to greet Kun Thaksin. And everyone had out their 100 baht bill to give it to Kun Thaksin to sign on the bill. Because this is Thailand, we are Thai. We know for sure, we know for a fact that if a millionaire signed my bill, I too will become a millionaire. It's like magic, it's true, it's real. But everybody loved Kun Thaksin. I was standing on the mezzanine level over the rail. I was wearing my suit. I was looking good, I was feeling good. I was young, I was handsome, I was hot. I looked down, Kun Thaksin, I was like, psst, who you? And then they came up the elevator to the mezzanine level because the meeting room is right here. And Kun Thaksin walked out, flanked by the editor-in-chief, the managing director of the Post Publishing, followed by all the cabinet, and again, Bangkok Post staff. Mind you, not journalists, but staff about the department, because journalists would be acting like that. They all lined up, they all cheering. I was standing against the rail like this. Again, looking good, feeling good, don't care. Hey, I'm from Texas, I swagger like Bush. Can't face me. He looked straight right at me, he caught me in there. He walked straight forward me. And everybody was like, oh my God, Voranai done it again. That boy, always getting in trouble. Always, that boy, why did you hire him? My God. He looked straight at me. He walked up to me. There was a hush, silence. He reached out his hands, he grabbed me on both my shoulders, and he looked me in the eyes and he smiled, very sweetly. He asked me, "Do you work here?" I looked him straight back in the eyes, because I roll like that. Can you believe it? Yes, I do. And he smacked me with an even bigger smile, and he said, "I thought you were a movie star." You laugh. But this is the magic of Thaksin Shinawat. He's a salesman. He's a damn brilliant salesman. He's a damn brilliant salesman. He has the human touch. He said that, but I'm a prick, so I wasn't impressed by it, but most other people, they'll be impressed by it. That's the human touch. And then in the meeting room, we had about 2 hours of interview. Everybody was asking questions. Me in the back, sitting, again in my suit, boss naked, going, what's up? And then, final question, the editor-in-chief. Okay, final question. Where's the question? And in the back, Voranai. And everybody look at me. A few people went, oh shit. And they pointed at me and said, okay. I said, Mr. Prime Minister. Now I asked this question, I studied philosophy in college, so I asked strange question. I asked him, what to you is the meaning of human rights? And Kun Thaksin looked around the room with his big broad smile. He started to laugh. And he started to tell the story. He said, okay, young man, I want to tell you the story. One time, I was having a conversation with a group of diplomats. And the conversation was about this very topic, human rights. And one diplomat asked me, what is human rights to you, Kun Thaksin? And at this time, all his cabinet, they were all like smiling. They were all like on the edge of their seat. They were so proud of their boss. The boss is about to lay down now. It's going to impress everybody. And Kun Thaksin continued. He said, he looked at all of them, and he smiled, and he said, he laughed a little, and then he said, I answered them like this. I told them, human rights is the right to be human. And the entire room was just clapping. Oh my God, Thaksin, oh my God. Sam Houston State University. I lived in Texas for 10 years. I have never heard of that university. Sam Houston State. Oh my God. And right at night there, I know that the man was full of it. Full of it. And then 3 or 4 years later, 2,500 innocent civilians was gunned down in the street without due process, without trial, without judgment of court, without juries. Simply because someone thought they sell drugs. So obviously, the man who said human rights was the right to be human didn't quite get it. Didn't quite understand what human rights mean. Thaksin Shinawatra, I will always say, is the most capable Prime Minister we have ever had. Much more capable than Deficit ever will. If I have children, I will not send them to Oxford University. Please. Oxford know nothing about third world, developing world politics. I will send them to Sam Houston State University. Which I have never heard of, but never mind. Most capable Prime Minister we have ever had. Unfortunately, he was capable also of many unfortunate things. And the evidence to his capability is, of course, having won absolute majority twice. Evidence to his capability is he keeps coming back. Yesterday, I was jogging on the track at the Royal Bangkok Sport Club. Yes, of our society, forgive me. There were a couple of businessmen, very rich men, talking. And one man said, I hate Thaksin. I always vote Democrat. I always vote Christian. I don't like Thaksin. I can't believe he won again. I can't believe. And then he said, but I got to give it to him. Here and now, I have to give it to him. That is true. Tanks kick him out. Court kick him out. They kick him out time and time and time again. And he keeps coming back, winning overwhelmingly. That is good. That's the sentiment of this gentleman, which may reflect the sentiment of a lot of people. And over on the other side, the Democrats, which have not won a single election in the past 19 years, not one. Not one. What are we going to do with them? What can they do? And so looking forward, the next 2, 3, 4 years, what's going to happen? The Thai party just have to play it smart and they will still be in power. Come April next year, the bad politicians will be unbanned. There might be a reshuffle in the cabinet. We'll see what's going to happen. Thaksin and Pheu Thai play their move correctly. They're going to be running the show for quite a while. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? It's not for me to say. I'm not here to judge. I'm only here to make jokes. but then it seems to be that way. And I think I've talked long enough. Does anyone have any comment, questions? Please edit this very carefully. There are a couple of moments that I get into trouble. Yes, sir.
If we look 12 months down the road, given the exclusion of any of the red shirt leaders from the current cabinet, do you think we could see people power coming back to Bangkok and the red shirts, the basic normal people actually arguing against their so-called leaders, and see a repeat of last year?
The red shirts have been well fed. The red shirts have been well fed. Jadupor and Nathamut didn't get the cabinet seats, they're okay with it. They have been well fed, they have been well rewarded. And the red shirts will not do anything if they don't have the same soul of Jadupor and Nathamut, because remember, these are the two guys that were there with them. These are the two leaders. They were there with them, they were on the stage, they were the one that built this organization. There are other minor leaders who control maybe a few hundred red shirts. They're not going to make any dent. The red shirts will go back to the point that I would say. Kuntida, the official leader right now, just there.
I would like to say, sir, that you have changed my thoughts on Thai people. You have had a room full of movers and shakers listening, hanging on every word. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes. Jump up.
Voranai, I enjoy reading your article every week, but why are you still alive? You bombast everybody, but very well.
The reason I'm still alive is because, and I would stress this to everybody who I will talk to, Thailand is never that bad. If it was that bad, none of you would be here. Am I correct? It's never that bad. There is relative freedom of the press, as long as you don't talk about you know what. It's never that bad. Three girls went up on the club, took off their top, dancing. Many people have many opinions about that. I say that's a good thing. Not because they took off their shirts, but because you see people simply standing up and saying, I'm going to do whatever I want. And sometimes they do good things, and sometimes they do bad things. But the point is, people standing up and screaming what they want. That's a good start. That's a good sign. And you see this in many aspects of the Thai society now, especially in the big city, with people I know, in the artistic community, with my students even. People are standing up and screaming more in their own way. Good or bad, it doesn't matter to me. The point is, people are standing up more. So things are changing, because society is changing. We know more. We have you guys here. I think the best thing about Thailand right now, or about Bangkok, is it is an international city. We have people from all over the world. I mean, I walk down Ceylon, I just keep bumping into white people. Forgive me for using that word. Everywhere. You guys are everywhere. 20, 30 years ago, all you guys were above 60. Nowadays, you see young people everywhere. From all corners of the world. Living in Bangkok and other big cities. No offense to any gentlemen here over 60s. And that's a good thing, because what you bring with you is culture. And a lot of complaints, but hey, you know. And you have this cultural exchange. People learn more, people know more, internet, cyberspace, people are learning more, and slowly people are growing, people are thinking. There will be a lot of problems, there will be a lot of obstacles, but you cannot stop evolution. You cannot stop evolution. I would love it for Thailand to be able to develop quicker. We can learn that, we can do that by actually learning from other people. But we have this problem, we don't like to learn from other people. We don't like to learn from other people because, God damn it, we will never colonize. So damn you all. If we learn from the mistakes of others, will be able to develop so much quicker. The way things are will still develop, but it will just be slow. It will be painful, it will be a tragic comedy. But you cannot stop evolution either way.
But Voranai, you say that we're within like a patriarchal democracy now. How long do you think it will take? How many decades before, if you like, true democracy will be here and you'll kick out the patriarchal side?
That's a dangerous question and you don't know it. There are things that are infinite in this world, but most things are finite. And one very important thing, probably the most important thing in Thailand, in the Kingdom of Thailand for the past 60 years, will one day be finite in a few years. And that will bring about big change. The entire psyche of the country, the mentality, how we feel. And when that big change comes, I don't know, we will see. Because remember, the way we are, the way we have been, this is an important part. I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. All I'm saying that this held us together for so long.
But a big change in psyche cannot happen overnight, can it?
No, it will happen slowly, but the big start will happen when the finite becomes finite. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Do you think we're in any better a situation now than we were politically than we were before the military coup?
Before 2006?
Yeah. Are we any better off now than we were then, politically? More stable?
No. I think everything's the same. Politically, everything's the same. It's still the same faces in Parliament. I can point them out to you. The powerful politicians, they are the same one that was governing the country under, JungCeylon in 1997. Same people.
So is it not inevitable that the same thing will happen again? We're in the same situation, the same people. Is it not almost inevitable that the same situation is going to happen again?
You mean another coup d'etat?
Yeah.
We live in a world of endless possibilities, but you got to ask, if there has to be a coup d'etat, there has to be some sort of reason. It doesn't have to be a good reason, but there has to be some sort of good reason. Some sort of reason. 2006, Thaksin was corrupted. Thousands of people marched on the streets. Even high society women put on their skin whitening cream, 3-inch thick, and go march on the street. Anti-monarchy, this and that. There was a reason, good or bad, and a story. The wind was blowing. The tanks came out. The people greeted the tanks and soldiers with flowers. If that very same thing happened tomorrow, will people react the same way? Personally, I do not think so. From my own experience, people right now, those who march in the yellow shirts, those who still today hate Thaksin, they realize now that the coup is not the answer. Because it happened already. 4 or 5 years later, look where we are, he's back. But again, we live in a world of endless possibilities. So who knows?
When you lecture at Thammasat, do you speak as freely as you do now to your students?
Yes, I do. Even also because there's a... Yes, ma'am.
What events need to occur before education is given serious focus in Thailand?
Education is a tough topic. I will tell you this story. I have taught at Thammasat for 3 semesters. Last semester, on the last day of class, a group of students come up to me. And they say, "Thank you, Ajahn. You're the first teacher who ever taught us how to think." Now, I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. I'm saying this because 12 years of education, 4 years of college, at the #2 universities in the Kingdom of Thailand, Nobody ever taught you how to think? That is the problem. How do you solve education? Can we find teachers who can teach these children how to think, but the teachers are the product of the same system? I don't have a solution for it. And there's no easy solution for it. But I think if we stop censoring, if we stop trying to keep our children in a square box, censoring TV, movies, internet, so on and so forth, if we generate more dialogue, if the people who have the power and the money can put on more responsible TV shows on Thai TV, little things that a lot of people can do that will help push things forward. It can be done, but again, it's not because where are we going to find the teachers?
Voranai, you appear on MBT TV as a government station, but you work for the Bangkok Post and the university. What is the editorial sort of contract as well as financial for that program? And do you ever get in trouble because sometimes you're very subtle in your English with hints about criticism? Do you get any trouble from the government editors of that program?
Well, I have been told that for the Bangkok Post, for the newspaper, I get the most phone calls. They never made it to me though, but my bosses get the phone calls. And you can say a lot of bad things about the Bangkok Post, but the Bangkok Post will allow you to write what you want to write. We may have good writers, we may have bad writers, but they will allow you to write what you want to write. Evidence number one. And the Bangkok Post do have yellow shirts and red shirts in there. But the beauty of it is, we do have yellow shirts and red shirts in there, so you get all perspective. You know, instead of being totally yellow or totally red, especially in this day and age, you cannot find a single paper that are totally balanced. It's just impossible. We are human, we have bias, we have prejudices, we have our like and dislike. So that I would say about the Bangkok Post. For MBT, the proudest moment on MBT that I had was when I was walking around shopping at Central Shipload and I get that phone call from one of the bras saying, "Voranai, were you talking about government corruption this morning?" I said, "Yes, I was." So this is government. You know, you shouldn't talk too much about government corruption. I said, "Should I?" So we're on government television. I know we are. Do you still want to be on government television? I already have. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm doing this because my boss asked me a favor to do it. So the point is basically, you know, there are phone calls, but no one has ever actually tried to intimidate or try to stop anyone from doing anything. That's what I always tell my colleagues. That's what I tell my students. If you do not push the envelope, you do not know what you can get away with. The biggest problem in the Thai media is self-censorship. If you don't push it, you just don't know. If you don't push it, you can't walk forward. So push it. I push it all the time. Look at me, I'm still cool. I'm still happy. I'm still talking. For now. So push it. Yes, sir.
You mentioned earlier very briefly about the laissez-faire laws, and they've been used quite adroitly in the run-up to the current election. Do you think that the cabinet will actually look at those and maybe make a change? Because there are a number of Westerners that have fallen foul of this quite drastically. Somebody was jailed for painting on the King's painting up north. Do you think that the current government will actually look at the laissez-faire laws?
No. No. It's a simple no. And I don't know, it's a touchy subject. Most Thais will say don't touch the law. But most Thais will always say don't abuse the law. Thailand is not the only country that has less majesty. Many advanced European countries also have. You just don't abuse it. It's just depends on interpretation, but if the cabinet going to change it? No, no way. No way, no way, no way. Yes, sir.
What about us foreigners living here a long time? Some of us have spoken out straight when we see it's happening. And we've lived in other countries and spoken out too. We come up against the president, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think in Thailand would happen if one is too outspoken as a foreigner?
I don't believe in the term too outspoken. You can never be too outspoken. As far as I can see, foreigners are pretty much treated the same as Thai. You can speak whatever you want, just don't speak about that one thing. And I am of the opinion that anyone can voice their opinion. Be them foreigners or Thais, you have an opinion, you can voice them. However, I would caution this. People tend to think their opinions are God-given fact. And that's why we have conflict. I think the conflict within the Thai society is no different than the conflict on the Bangkok Post forum. It's people screaming at each other without listening. It's people who think they are correct in everything. So I say voice your opinion, but also listen to others' opinion. Voice your opinion, but also be open to be wrong, to be corrected. You know, we Thais don't know everything, foreigners don't know everything, we're here to learn, we're here to exchange. Some of the many things in Thailand you probably know better than I do. A lot of you have been in Thailand longer than I have. So we just exchange our opinion.
In Singapore, you're not allowed to speak. In Thailand, we are more allowed to speak. This is me. I've been here 30 years, and I quite respect this fact. It's a big difference for a country. Singapore criticizes Thailand, and yet I found Thailand more free than Singapore.
That is true. That is true. But I have to say one thing that annoys me with my fellow Thais is that, you know, oh, if you don't like it, get out. I don't like that argument either. Also, I don't like the argument from the other side, that, you know, that a lot of foreigners say they know Thailand better than Thai people do. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but when you say that, what result do you think it's going to get? And you're going to solve anything, and you're going to be more conflict. Same thing with Thai people, you know, everything goes both ways. Everything goes both ways, and of course we are not more free in Singapore, thank God. The Singapore came with the fun, right? I don't want that to happen to me. Yes, sir.
Do you think foreigners will ever be able to own land?
Well, you can now. Don't tell me that you can't.
But you can't.
Don't tell me that you can't. Many things you can do. Own Voranai. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. It has long to do with history and cultural psyche. Remember, to be fair to the Thai people, to be fair to the 200 years of our history, it's always been foreigners trying to grab our land. Today, a lot of people still have that paranoia. I'm not saying whether they should or should not have it. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying they do have it. I'm just saying for the past 200 years, foreigners have been trying to grab Thai lands. So this is what happened. Whatever, wherever we are today is a consequence of our history. Everywhere around the world, it's a consequence of history.
Actually, it's more profitable because they sell it, but they don't. So it's more profitable that way.
It will be. I hope one day foreigners can own land here. I don't mind. Anyone else?
Given that Phuket didn't show overwhelming support for Thai in the last election, what would you predict the consequences that may be for us locally?
The consequence because Phuket shows support from the Thai party? to use the words of Kun Thaksin, if you vote for me, you get a lot of favorable returns. If you don't, you get nothing. So if Phuket voted for the Thai party, expect to get a lot of nice stuff from the Thai government. One good thing about Thaksin is that he knows how to pamper his people. That's why he has a lot of loyal followers. He spread the wealth around. He knows how to pamper his followers. Yes, sir.
You've spoken a lot about the political issues that we and disparity in Thailand, classes, whatever. What about the economic disparity? Do you have any ideas about what might, any way that could be addressed? The 60% hesitant.
Right. Well, everything all tied into one. I mean, the economic situation of the poor cannot improve if their education doesn't improve. The education can't improve unless we have the political will to improve it. So everything all tied together. And you can see with this whole driven by minimum wage business. You can see a lot of the private sectors are dead set against it. It's going to hurt our business, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to so on and so forth. My personal opinion is this. So if you give them 200 baht and you want to be able to buy your second Mercedes-Benz, is that so bad? Seriously. Right now, Thailand doesn't think the big picture yet to usher out the country as a whole. And as long as we think of us and them, us and them, us and them, it will be hard for the economic situation for the poor to improve. It will be very hard. And again, education has to come too, or come first. And the political will has to be there. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. Yes?
Where did you buy your shoes?
Sorry?
Your shoes.
I bought my shoes actually last week. They are very comfortable.
Cool.
It's perfect for Phuket.
Do you have any opinion on the wealth from foreigners being given to Thai women supporting families in Isan? Is that going to help Isan, help Northeast Thailand, or is it going to hurt them?
Help in what way?
Well, help them that they've got more money. Children will be able to finish school instead of having to work on the farms.
I say go for it. I say go for it. I believe in love. I'm a champion of love. You love, you love. And you know what? You marry the girl, you get the whole family. Comes with a package. It's a win-win situation. Go for it. My aunt's maid, because we have maids in our society, was married to an Englishman. My father, they married, and she was just our maid. And I was in England, and I went to visit her. And now she lives in this big house, bigger than my house. I was like, what the fuck? You know, and her children are going to school, good schools. And right now they're probably wilding and like shoplifting computers or something. But whatever. You give people opportunities in life, and that's a good thing no matter what. And incidentally, about this wild thing, you know, last year people were like, oh Thailand, third world country, look at that. The nations are going crazy. Civil war. Look you. It's a human problem.
But you know, even marriage is not, I've been here a long time and I see people, it's called trust. The person I'm with, she has no ID, no rights, non-person. But I give everything to my family, why not? Because I understood one thing in life, we're all human beings. And I try to help those who help work together. And it's not necessarily about blood. It's about joy and respect in each other's lives. And that's really what family is, not necessarily about blood.
I agree completely. And if a Thai woman finds that she's employment and all power working a Thai woman. I mean, I'm a Thai man, and all my friends are Thai. I know our problem. We love our wife dearly, but we also love our kid. You know, I'm not talking about everyone, certainly not me. But it is a problem.
How long do you think Yingluck's government will last? And final question, what is your future ambition? Do you want to be a politician? Do you want to be in a next government in the future?
I do not know what my future will be.
Want to be.
Politician? What's that? There are better things you can help your countrymen other than being an MP in Parliament. Doing nothing. I think being a teacher is the best thing I can do for my country.
And how long will Yingluck last?
Sorry?
How long will Yingluck last?
Yingluck will last as long as the brother wants to last. Like I said, if they don't do anything stupid, Yingluck will stay for 4 years. And then the 4 years after that, Council will come back and be the virtual guy. But just for the short term, if they're not doing anything stupid, the time will see out the 4 years. There are rumors, there are always rumors in Thailand. People are talking about wait 6 months. People are talking about wait 2 years. Wait for what? There are always rumors, so it's hard to predict. I can only follow logic and common sense. And logic and common sense say if they don't do anything stupid, they'll see out the 4 years. But having said that, when you are trying to analyze politics, logic and common sense can go out the window. And when you try to analyze Thai politics, logic and common sense and everything else go out the window. So I can't really predict what's going to happen.
Thank you, Voranai. So, you like it? This is live up as well, so please support it. If any of you have any sponsorship for next month, please go and see our man Denny. I'd just like to lastly say a thanks to Cook M from Moon Brewwork. Please give these guys and their staff a round of applause. Excellent beer. And tonight's sponsors. We'll have a raffle in 15 minutes. Get some more drinks in. Buy your tickets.